Man, oh man, oh man. Stephen A. Smith has finally came to his senses. And what Stephen A. Smith said on Fox with Sean Hannity is what everybody knew was going to happen. Donald Trump won this race, and he won it convincingly. And Stephen A. Smith finally admits to this. So let's get to this clip. This is from the Sean Hannity show. This is him and Stephen A. Smith having a great conversation about the whole election. So let's get to the video. Fair use, fair use.
All right, here with his take. I admit it publicly. He's a friend of mine. We don't agree a lot on politics. It's ESPN host. He's a rock star. There is no, as far as I'm concerned, there is no ESPN without my friend Stephen A. Smith. I watched you on The View today. How you doing?
All right. How you doing, Sean? Congratulations on the election, the results.
Thank you.
You called it. You said it was going to happen. I can't refute it. I can't refuse the fact that the president of the United States, the president-elect, is well deserving of it. It was a romp. It was an annihilation. I know a lot of people are trying to, label it like, you know what, he won a little bit in a lot of different places. I don't want to hear that. He won, and he won in absolutely convincing fashion, so much so that I think that in light of those results, we have to look at this election as a referendum on the Democratic Party and America saying, we're not feeling where you are. We're not feeling where you tried to go. We want no part of it. We're not having it. And they made their choice, and we all have to accept it.
And see, this is the thing more and more people need to understand. People like Stephen A. Smith, he was pro-Kamala. He thought that she could pull it out. But I think even Stephen A. Smith knew that this was going to be a Herculean effort. He's right as well. The Democratic Party has to do a lot of soul searching. Will they do the soul searching? Will this be the election to get Democrats to do the soul searching? I don't know, because when you have people in power like a Nancy Pelosi, like a Chuck Schumer, like a Barack Obama, who have been so used to doing things a certain way for so long, it's hard to do things different. So they have to do some soul searching, and let's continue with the video.
And you were very gracious, by the way. Privately, we have our own conversations, and you said that to me, and I'll live with it. And I've had elections that I really wanted my side to win that they lost. And you know what, Stephen A., I go on, and I plow through, and I do my job. There's not going to be retribution. None of the hosts of The View are going to be taken off. I used to go on that show. They wouldn't even they wouldn't accept a conversation with me at this point. Isn't that pretty pathetic? Because I used to like Whoopi Goldberg. Joyless Behar,
listen,
she's a little, yeah.
I would ask that you don't look at the show. What you should look at is the ideological tilt that has taken place in our country. We've gotten to a point where, God forbid, somebody has a difference of opinion and a different form of ideology, then you're damn near the Antichrist. And that's not what makes this country great. I mean, the reality is that, you know what, we could sit up there and we could say what we want, and everybody has their different opinions about Donald Trump. You know how I felt. You knew why I didn't vote for him. I don't like the way he behaves. I think the presidency is a statesmanship position, and I think that level of hubris that he's accustomed to showing needs to be dialed back significantly. But having said that, the bottom line is simple. You can look at a lot of things on the right or the left. He talked about the economy. Okay, Biden inherited, what was it, like 1.5% in terms of inflation. It ballooned to over 9.1% before it got dialed down a little bit. We looked at open borders. Barack Obama was once considered the deporter in chief because he actually deported more folks than Donald Trump. But Biden comes into office, and the first thing he does, day one, executive order, he opens the borders. And obviously that created so much tension. And then you look at the culture wars, the identity politics, some of the transgender issues that people were.
Let's go back on what he said. He said something about what Obama did and what Biden did. Now, what Obama did was he closed those borders, but Trump, he just increased it. He said, you know what? You close the borders, but I want to build a wall. So then when Biden gets in the White House, he opens the borders, and look what happens. You have 12 million migrants coming over the border, taking people's job and getting food stamps and getting aid and all this stuff. And people don't like that. People don't like a certain ideology. And I think the problem with the Democrats, and I've said this before, and I'll let the video continue, is that you have two sides of America. You have the people that live in rural America, like Nebraska, Oklahoma, Mississippi, parts of Georgia, parts of Virginia, who are red. They're red, blue, they're red-blooded Republicans. But then you have people who are Democrats who live in these metropolis cities like Washington, D.C. You live in Atlanta, Georgia. You live in, let's say, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Detroit, all these areas, Chicago, Illinois, LA, all these places where it's liberal blue. And the problem is both sides of the country don't know how to get along with each other. And the issue that Kamala Harris and the Democrats have is that they don't understand, like, all that ideology, all that woke ideology, all those type of different things that you want to put in place are not going to work with middle country of Americans, people who are religious, people who are pro-choice, people who believe in family, believe in church, believe in Jesus Christ and all these different things. You're not going to be able to push your agenda on those people. And sometimes you have to say to yourself, maybe we need to come to the middle and try to come to some type of agreement. So I agree wholeheartedly with Stephen A. Smith said. Let's continue.
Bringing up in terms of individuals transitioning from male to female and wanting to participate in female sports and stuff like that, or sharing the same bathroom as females and all of this other stuff. America said, hey, we're not down for that. We're not going for it. And no matter what you try to throw in our direction, that's not what we're concerned about. We're primarily concerned about the economy. We're primarily concerned about our borders and about being safe. And they voted that way to send that message. And all we've heard over the last couple of days is folks going absolutely bat crazy because the candidate that they preferred to win didn't win. And I just want to take a moment to remind everybody, this is America. Guess what? Sometimes you don't get what you want. But we are known for having intestinal resolve and making sure we're able to march forward and work with whichever candidate ends up being in office and winning, and find a way to work with one another and reach some degree of compromise so we have civility in this country instead of chaos. It's going to be up to Donald Trump to contribute to that, no doubt. But the way I've seen some of the Democrats reacting since Kamala Harris lost, to be quite honest with you, is utterly ridiculous. I'm not going to get into any names, but it's been utterly ridiculous.
I agree. It's like, if you go on Twitter, if you go on all these social media platforms, these Democrats, honestly, they acting like it's going to be the Antichrist because Donald Trump is in the White House. There's a reason why. It would be one thing if Donald Trump lost the popular vote, but he got the electoral vote. But this man won the popular vote by over 3 million votes. 3 million votes. That's like the population of a major city. And this man won it by 3 million votes. And the problem is, it's not like it was a close election. This was a landslide. And that's the problem that the Democrats have to realize. The Democrats have to realize that you can't just plug anybody in there at the last minute and think you're going to win. And people just fell for it. I think people drank the Kool-Aid like, what's the name? I remember Spike Lee said, oh, yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid. No, you drank the Kool-Aid. You drank the Democratic Kool-Aid, and look what happens. Let's continue.
You know, one thing, when I'm on your show, I do all the talking. When you're on my show, I let you do all the talking. We kind of have this unspoken agreement, because but together when we have conversations, they're really thoughtful conversations. Mm-hmm. They're real. We keep it real. Okay. You know, you always tell me to stay in my lane politics. I tell you to stay in your lane sports, but you're making a lot of sense tonight, and they would be wise to listen to you. And more importantly, the spirit in which you're telling it, and I give you a lot of credit for that. You know, here's where I see it, and tell me what you agree or disagree with. They could not run on one thing that they could point to where we were better off than we were 4 years ago. One major thing that improved the lives of the American people. The campaign ended with, you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're a fascist, a misogynist. Even Barack Obama and Stacey Abrams calling African-American men misogynists and sexist. Stacey Abrams says they're racist. And a lot of what they said was just flat-out lies. Kamala told us for 3 years the border was secure. It was not. Everybody knew it wasn't. She said for 3 years that inflation was transitory and denied that we had an inflation problem. She also lied during the campaign, her final argument. She told American women, she told them that Donald Trump's going to sign a national abortion ban. That was a lie. She said Donald Trump will limit your access to contraception. That was a lie. She said that he would ban IVF. That was a lie. She tried to scare seniors and say that he's going to take away your Social Security and Medicare. He promised he would not do it. Benefits went up in his first term when he was president. So analyze that strategy. You can't run on what you did or what you succeeded at. So you're going to go to the lowest level, tell lies, and call people Nazis and fascists. Not a good strategy, Stephen A. Not nice either.
I'm going to let Stephen A. answer this, but this is what happens when you don't have a clear platform to run on. Barack Obama in 2008 had a clear platform to run on. He ran on Obamacare. And it got him in the White House. Donald Trump in 2016 had a clear platform. Make America great again. It got him in the White House. Joe Biden, the thing is, they tried to run the same playbook in 2024 that Joe Biden ran in 2020, that Trump was bad and, the COVID and all this other stuff. But you can't run the same playbook twice. Sometimes you have to say to yourself, okay, it worked in 2020. What's going to work in 2024? And the problem with the Democrats is two things. Number one, you have to have a clear vision. The Democrats didn't have a clear vision. And number two, I don't want to seem like I'm sexist or anything, but Kamala is an empty suit. There's a reason why she didn't get past the first round in 2019. I'm not saying this woman is dumb. I'm not saying this woman is incompetent. I think in 2028, if she does some soul searching, gets better with just being a better orator, maybe she will be the first female president. I told people a long time ago, I said if Michelle Obama would have ran, I think Michelle would have won. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people say America's not ready for a woman president. I think America's ready for a woman president, but that woman has to be at the top of her game to take down somebody like Donald Trump. Let's continue.
Well, I'm not going to deny that it's not the greatest strategy. I don't know if you're entirely, completely accurate in everything that you're saying, because I can think of lies that the other side as well. But I will say this to you. If you're Kamala Harris, what you could have done is lean on the reports that the economy was actually getting better and it actually is in a good place compared to where it was. You could have acknowledged that. Guess what? True. I was a bit wrong in the position that I took on the border. And obviously, it's not about flip-flopping. It's about me correcting the error of my ways. She didn't do that. But in the end, I will tell you, I'll do you a favor and tell you where the biggest crime came about from the Democratic Party. You had a situation with Biden, who promised to be a transitional president. He labeled himself a stopgap, somebody that was going to come in there, sort of calm the waters, and then move out the way for a young blood to come into the fray, and new blood rather to come into the fray and be the next president of the United States. There was supposed to be a red wave in the midterms. It didn't happen. What does he do? He's the incumbent. He gets comfortable and says, "I'm not going anywhere," and that threw everything up in flux. So suddenly he's debilitated a bit. The cognitive decline is something that we were witnessing. People were noticing it but didn't want to speak about it. You let him go on stage and get embarrassed. June 27th, 3.5 weeks later, you elevate her. She never went through a primary or anything like that, which raised question marks. And then what do you do from there on, Sean? You obviously they felt they needed to do whatever they could to get votes. This is what they were doing, and it didn't work. It didn't work, and that's what you have to applaud. The American people have spoken. They said, we're not going for that. We're looking at policies. We're not going for all of that.
Yeah, man. I mean, Stephen A. hit it right on the head, man. A lot of times, and this is the sad part, I remember when Biden said he was going to be a transitional president, and I thought when he decided to run for a second term, I was like, what the hell? Like, bro, like, you 80-some years old. Like, you might not even make it to your second term. But I mean, it was to me, it was just a farce from the beginning. Donald Trump and the Republicans ran a better campaign. The Democrats were caught flat-footed, and if people like Stephen A. Smith can admit it, people on the left need to admit it, that they were caught flat-footed. Kamala Harris probably wasn't the better candidate, but at the end of the day, let's see if they change their tactics. It's your boy Jay here with another video. If you like the content, hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. On my road to the first 1,000 subscribers for this channel. Also, I got another video pinned to the side for your viewing pleasure. So if you want to watch that video, be my guest. Until next time, folks, I'm out.